Easy bass lines for Ableton Move. Nothing complicated here, just using a few simple techniques and have fun along the way. Let's jump right in. So this sound, Screech the Bass, it's a great sound. It's got all kinds of ways to play with it. And you've got things like thickeners, and you've got this oscillator 1 gain, which listen to this. You can add like sort of upper harmonics, but it's a monophonic sound, so you can only play one note at once. So if I hold a note down like this, so you kind of like, if you trap this one down and just add others on top, it'll always jump back to this. So for class, this is my root note. We're in F minor. So if I hold this down, I'll play against a drum beat and put some rhythmic sense to it. But basically, I'm holding a note down and I'm just sort of tapping other notes on in time. Now we've already got it in key, F minor. So technically you can't play a wrong note. And if you do play it out of time, we can, I'm playing sort of a 16 note sort of feel, and you can always quantize it after you've done it. It won't show up quantized because I've not done anything yet. So I'll just show you what I mean. I'm just sort of jabbing notes on. So you can see if I go from there onwards, this, same note, same note. So if you like to play in a line, you can kind of do that. If you like to play up, so you can mix it up. And if you just sort of follow finger patterns, you can come up with all sorts of stuff. But this is just the basic idea. I'm going to use this one, which is F, and then it's F, G, and then think that'll be A flat in F minor. So yeah, you know, correct me if I'm wrong. We're only working with 7 notes, and then you get to this one, which is the same note, an octave higher. So try it with the drum beat. So I'm just kind of like tapping on other notes. When I play one down, it just bounces back to it, just like it would on a synthesizer set to monophonic. You'll just get this kind of. So, you know, I'm not going to tell you what patterns to play, but that's just all within the key of F minor. You hold a note down. It's more about the timing, really, sort of what sort of time you do. So if I just try and record one, I'll just hold it down. But if I can hit record, I get a bar count. I hold it down now. So if I quantize it, get my quantize here, I've already got it set to 16. So it'll be in time. So it's a pretty easy way. Depends what drum beat. I'm using just like a beat to show different patterns here. So, you know, you probably have a drum beat that's a little bit more busy on the kicks, probably because it seems to plod along that one, but that's just one way. Now, if I change the sound, I'm going to use pluck bass because it's got more of a short sound, which allows for kind of more repetitive notes. The other one was kind of sustained, slower. So this one, sharper notes, really quick and cut through. So if I just click this one, this is F, right? So if I'm in the key of F. So the blue notes are my root notes, and all the others are notes from the scale. So once we get to here, you can either go or go. Same place, same note, different place. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know I'm always going on about that. But so here we've got like the fifth note of the scale, which is always kind of like a strong chord, and the third note of the scale is kind of, you can feel a sort of difference in a chord change. If you're new to chord changes and stuff, just try something like this. So this is like just on the root note. I'm going to play that. I'm going to press every note. Okay, so that's on F. So then if I add another one, I'm going to press Shift, and I'm going to add new clip. So this came in 1.4, the update. So you can actually add a clip here without going into session view. You can just press Shift and stay where you are. So now there'll be no bass line, but a drum beat. So now I'm going to go here and do the same thing. So I've got that, just does all this will be A flat technically. And then if I want to play between them, I can go to my first pattern, change it. Now, of course, you could do that all in one bar. You could change that, make it into 2 bars. But I'm just going to show you it so I can make variations quite quickly. So on this one, you can see it's moving along. So you can see where the notes are. Now, if I want to do this in real time, I can press play, and I'm going to press one of the notes and just do something different. So say, for example, I'm going to go use the high octave there. So I'm going to go along and just press one. I'll just guess and just do it like this. And just, I played other notes, but they're all going to fit. So it's all going to be in time, but now it'll move between different notes, but it'll always kind of keep coming back to this F because all the other gaps are on F. Just watch anyway. I mean, that sounds okay depending on what, you know, you maybe want to have a different drum beat, maybe like hard techno or something, but that's pattern 1, if you like. That's that one. So for this pattern, I want it to kind of do like a turnaround. So I'm going to play this note to take it back. This, remember before I said it was the, I'll bring it back. So the 4th and the 5th always kind of feel like they're returning home. There is a reason for that in music theory, but I won't bore you with it right now. It's like called a cadence. So I'm going to go down, dum. So if I press play now, I want it to go from this one, down, down, boom, back to the beginning. So I'm going to add this note instead of that one. So if I like touch one of these patterns, it'll show me which note it was. So if I go here, it's all the same note, yeah, basically. So this one, I'm going to go. So I'm kind of going over it. I pressed it twice to make sure it goes. So it should go. And if I go here, I go. And this gives me like another bar to sort of play something else. So it's kind of simple, and you can obviously do all kinds of things. Like just, you could do all of that in 4 bars. So if I do that, shift and make a new one, let me just make sure it's fit somewhere. So here, I'll play, there's nothing there. You could straight away go, okay, I want a 4-bar pattern, and then select a note because there's no note selected. Okay, do that, and I'm going to go similar sort of thing. I'll put some gaps in just to make it a bit different. So, and then I can move on to bar 2 and go, you know, that kind of thing. And this time I'll do a full bar of this one now. So and then I'll go back to the chord 1 for the bar 4, and I'll go, and then to give it this kind of turnaround feel, I'll go this note, and then put like a higher, like that. Sorry, listen to it all together. So you can go through that, edit it, and you can do all sorts of things about making the notes join together and do that, but I'll save it for another video. That I just want to get bass lines quickly. That's the idea. This method, I'll use the pluck bass. This is very good for faster bass lines because it's got a short sound, quick decay, so it disappears faster. So the one thing, if I just make a new clip, let's just check I've got space. Yeah, I'll make a new one there. Make sure you've got your 1.4 update so you can just add clip there. It saves you going all the way back to there and pressing it. So yeah, shift, do that. So now I press play, I've just got my drum beat. Now this is, I always do this since I've used push, since push 1. I've always done this technique because it's easy and it's quick and it's in time and you can experiment a bit more. So you all know by now that it's in F minor. I've set it to the in key and then fourths. Now I've done another video on this. Check it out because it explains why I use this one, and this is more push like, but you've actually got more options to play notes, and especially with this way I'm going to show you. So I'm going to use the repeat. First of all, I'm going to use repeat, not ARP up. I'll change that. I'll come back to ARP in a minute. I'll just use repeat. So this pattern, this drum pattern, the hi-hats, they're using 16ths, which is the 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and, which I always go on about, but that's kind of like the time reference. And you've got your kick and your snare. Any of you play bass or guitar are probably used to playing with a drummer, but if not, it's totally cool. And the idea is if I set the repeat to 16th notes, in fact, I'll show you 8th notes first, just so you can see the difference. I'm sure you've tried this anyway, but so if I press the drum beat now, the hi-hats are going there, all the way across, yeah? So I kind of want to jam along with those, but if I just use 8th notes and press a note, that's just going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, like sort of plodding along. Now at this tempo, it feels quite sluggish, but I'll show you what I mean. I'll just play this note. You've also got to hit it bang on as well because it needs to start on the beginning of the beat. So you can do that. You can change the different timings and you can play triplets and all kinds of stuff, but I'm just going to make it 16th note. You'll see why. Because the 16th note kind of plays the largest amount of notes in that time. So you've got... But you can also play less by going... And you kind of can't do it out of time because it's set to play on the grid 16th. So if I play this now, just doing one note, I'm just going to go. So that's just using one note, right? Which anyone can do that. Yeah, it's just on, off, 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 on. That's all I was doing, just sort of dabbing it on a little bit. Then you can start playing other notes. Now, just the easiest one to do is just play the octave. And then what I'm going to do is use the pattern that I'll show you one of the other bass lines. Is I'm just going to go like first note of the scale, third note, fourth note, and I'll go to the octave, and then maybe try the 6th note, which is that one there. And it kind of, you'll hear how I move, but I'm kind of half guessing, half done it hundreds of times before. So if I just hold this down, I'll play a drum beat. So I'm going to go. Now this particular sound, it does seem to take, sort of goes whoop up at the beginning, so I'm going to try another one because it sounds like I'm missing the note because it's kind of... So, you know, if it doesn't work, let's try another one. But that's kind of the idea. But to do it and get a bit better, let's have a look at this one. Yeah, that'll really be dead straight. So probably easier to show you that one. So try this one. So... Right, so this one, because it's really super sharp, what I'm doing now is I'm holding it down, and then that's the octave. But like, my fingers just want to like run around everywhere. So all I'm doing is this kind of thing. So I'm moving this with the... like my bottom finger, then I'm just kind of using other notes. But like I said, you can't play a wrong note and it won't be out of time either. So experiment, see what you think. But I'm kind of using this as like kind of progression. I'm going from that note on the bottom, like the lowest bass note, from there, there and there. That's pretty much what I'm staying around on. Obviously, this works in every key, major or minor, you know what I mean? Just experiment with that. I'm just showing you a sort of technique really. So I'll hold that down and go... So holding that as my roots. There's the 80s for you, yeah? So just try that. And when you play a different sound, I'll just move it again so you can just kind of test it on that. See, that one, the sound doesn't cut into it as much. So I'll play against the drums, you get a better idea, but I'm just hovering around. This is my root note. That one is the kind of third note, the scale. That is the fourth, and it kind of, I might even go sort of thing. But that's where I'm kind of, my left hand is doing the low notes, and this I'm just kind of jumping across and trying things and seeing what works. And if I do like something, I'll do it again. And then I would work on this until I got it right, you know, because otherwise I'll just fill up with loads of me messing around. But this is the kind of the idea. So it's the drums. The idea, I'm just kind of holding it down and then I'm moving this one so they're all going to fit the notes, just some will sound better than others. So that's an octave. And any of you that kind of play bass or guitar, just think of it as in fourths going that way, right? You're playing like bass like that, you know. This is a minor scale with all the notes that aren't in the scale missed out. So it's made easier, but that's the root note, the fifth note, which I sort of went to before, and that's the octave. So if you think of it as a bass or a guitar, it's... So if it was the chords, if the chords were F, A flat minor, B flat or something, yeah, B flat would be, then that's kind of what you would do. You'd play the bass like using root, third, fifth and stuff like that. You don't have to know too much theory, but basically this is allowing you to play 16th notes, any note from F minor, it's all going to work. You don't have to press quantize, you know what I mean? You might have just missed the note slightly to trigger it, but you'd hear it, you know? So, and then with all that, if you recorded something like that, you can even do it without the drums. So because you didn't have to place the drums because it was pulsating away, if I press capture, cross your fingers, it should sound... Yeah, I think that kind of works, you know? So I hope that made sense, and do try these things. Try different sounds, different drum patterns. It can really have an impact on the sound, and also it'll influence the way you play it as well. So try those. Let me know what worked for you. Let me know what you want to try. I've kept it simple. You can do lots more stuff on here, but I'll try and separate them across lots of different videos. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please do like and subscribe.